Hello guys and welcome back to another Redstone video where we're actually not going to be looking at something new, rather we're going to be looking at an old design I did about a year and a half back, and that's because several people in the comments have said that the quality of the video wasn't very good. It was a bit confusing, which I thoroughly agree with. The video in question is the Observerless Airlock door, which is very useful, especially now that the aquatic update is around, for having a fancier way of getting in and out of your bases if it involves water. So imagine that this is ocean here, you swim in, you flick the lever, wait for a second while the water drains, and then you can carry on through to your base. So to begin with, you're going to require the area where you're going to put the door. Now that is entirely up to you, but I'd recommend there to be a sort of inset into wherever you're building it. So redstone is exposed, and you kind of need a 2x3 area in which to build it, and plenty of space back to go, and a bit of space on the top to hide some top redstone. And what you're going to do is you're going to build your doors that open up onto the water. These can be any blocks that can be movable by pistons that don't let water in. Then you're going to come back 3 blocks, like so, and then build your second set of doors. Then you're going to come through and you're going to put pistons behind every single block that's a door block. So I'm just going to get that done. I'm going to maybe speed a little bit through this little bit. And there we have it. We've got all of the blocks, all of the pistons that are required for our door. And we're going to go through and remove these temporary blocks. And now we're going to add in the pistons that hold back the water. Now you can do this with dispensers, though for that you'd have to look at my design, which was included observers, and take the water design from there. And we're also going to add in a few extra blocks here to hold the water up, and we're also going to add the walls for the inside of the airlock. Okay, when those are done, you should have something a little bit like that. Now, we're going to choose the side that we're going to be using for our input. I tend to like the left-hand side, but it's entirely up to you. And you're going to knock out these blocks because you need to make sure that they are solid blocks. And you're going to put a lever upside down on there. You're going to come around to the back, and you're going to put a solid block there. Okay, so for the top part of the airlock door, you're going to want to require some building blocks of your choice that the redstone will sit on, some redstone dust, a couple of half slabs, 1 repeater, actually 2 repeaters, and a torch. And what you're going to do is you're going to come over to here, briefly remove this piston just to make life a little bit easier for placing that repeater down, and then you're going to come and put a block there, followed by a torch, followed by a block on top, and then you're going to come either side, placing blocks, and then pop the dust, and that's that side done. And then on this side, you're going to want to put half slabs here and here, then come across 4 blocks, half slab here and here, followed by 3 more blocks, and run the redstone along all of those blocks. And the reason for these half slabs here is to avoid any form of quasi-connectivity hitting these pistons down here. And that is the top section done. As you can see, we are currently in the dry mode because the pistons here are extended, which hold back the water. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add in the containment unit for the water. Of course, as this is still in the building mode, I'd recommend to leave the water out of the build until the very end, so you don't get any soggy redstone. Okay, now we're going to come on to the more exciting bit, which is the redstone that controls the piston doors. So what we're going to start off with is pulling the signal from the top circuit downwards. So we're going to start by coming below this repeater that's pointing that way and pointing a repeater in the other way. And then we're going to come up and we're going to take the signal off this repeater down towards that repeater. And this is why you need this third solid block down there, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to pull out signal. Then we're going to come down in kind of a 3-step followed by a side step, and we're going to come across 3, coming up 1 block on the third, place a repeater, set to 4 ticks there, bit of dust and a torch in the front, and we're going to come across 2 on this side and just 1 on that side. Let's pop a dust there. Once again, 4 ticks on all, and now we're going to do a little bit of diagonalizing redstone up to power these pistons. Now, because we don't want to power this dust here, because that'll make a clock, we need to come out a little bit for this side. So, torch, block, torch, actually, bit of a change, why not, to make it a little bit wider. You can bring this bit of redstone into here, but I've just realized it's still within the footprint. That's totally fine. And we're gonna mirror that on the other side. See, it's funny how after you look at some redstone after a little bit of a while, you realize that there's some bits that could be changed. And there we go. So as you can see at the moment, we are in the dry mode, which means that all of this side is extended and the pistons on the top are extended. And now we're going to move on to the timing circuit for the dry side of the door. Okay, for the dry side of the door, we're going to come back down to underneath the door, and we're going to come out 1, 2, across, and then 4 back, like so. And then we're going to require a comparator, like so. And we're going to need 4 of these, 2 like this, whoops, no subtract mode here, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and 2 like that. And it has this time that I've realized that there should actually be a solid block there, because otherwise you'll have signal leaking down. And then we're going to have 2 redstone dust like so, another spot of white concrete, and a redstone dust here. And now we're going to bring out the wings, and this is the last torch tower that you will have to put in this build. So both repeaters, as always, set to 4 ticks. Now we're going to come up like so, and we're going to put a torch, another block, another bit of dust, come up 1, torch, block, dust. And we're going to repeat that on the other side. So come up 1, pop a torch on top, see if we can wrap this. No one. Then make sure you're using the right color. I always love to color coordinate my redstone builds, because otherwise they end up just looking a little bit messy, especially when they're not in a specific build. And now is a good time to give everything a dry run before you put in the water. So let's just test this. So this should be, these doors should close, those doors should open, everything should basically open at once. Pretty much. Let's give that a try the other side. Okay, good. Everything seems to be good so far. I've actually realized that these 2 repeaters down here can be set to a slightly less dramatic tick rate. Not tick rate, sorry. The amount of ticks within the repeater. So let's give this an actual test with the water. I would also recommend that in the actual build, for the water to have either it like that or like that in order to cover up the redstone, so you don't get any water leaking from the actual ocean into your build. So let's give this an actual dry run, actual wet run. Water, and that's it, the water side. And I'm actually playing a little bit with fire here, because if there is any leakage, it will come and wreck down that redstone. But as you can see, everything works exactly as intended. Okay guys, I hope you very much enjoyed this tutorial on how to build the Observerless airlock door. I will provide links to the other videos I've had of this type of design in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed. Though I do have one design consideration before you go, and that is that you could alter the design by ripping out these pistons here in order to make a less resource intensive version. Is it me or has the timings changed? Because I'm sure that was slightly less timing long last time I did it. But anyway, it gives a sense that you've dried off completely and your clothes, they've been blow dried by the fans that have come on inside of the room to blow dry you before you enter in to your top secret evil domain. So that's one potential, of course. I did have a few other ideas. Unfortunately, none of them really panned out, which is a bit of a shame. And just as a final note, because I know I did mention to the people on the side, on the YouTube, that I would try and get this tutorial out about 2 months ago. Unfortunately, I've had issues with my voice. It's incredibly coughy. It's a bit better now. I still have the occasional trouble with it, which does mean that my voice is a bit gravelier, even more so than it has been in the past. So yeah. Apologies about the delay on this video. Hopefully I should be able to get a fair number of videos out over the Christmas season. So thank you guys very much again for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Take care and have a lovely, splendid day, whatever the time it is where you're